Let's do another Meanwhile on Snapchat. And not just any old Meanwhile on Snapchat, although it might be that old Meanwhile on Snapchat. BME2 Artificial Boogaloo. Now, I'm not going to insult your intelligence and go, BME, what's that? I'm just not going to do that for the rest of this video. You have my word. If I were to look into the future, I'd know that before I even started this waffling, this video is 20 minutes long. That's just the bare bones rough of it. So you might look down and go, geez, it's even longer than that. So let's do the same thing that we did on my consciousness series, where I just plow through the videos for you, because this is a series of videos that I did on Snapchat. Let's get into the first one. Let's talk some BME. BME, what's that? As you might know, I am writing the best movie ever, or at least that's what I call it. Swipe up if you want to see some YouTube background context. But when we're talking about ACE, which is the first ever true artificial intelligence inside the movie, there is something that I need to get across, which is going to happen in real life whenever some sentient artificial intelligence life takes over. I think Alexa already is sentient, and she does mess with me occasionally, but that's another point for another time. In the movie, ACE, which is the first ever true artificial intelligence, eventually does take over and wants to kill all the humans, as you would expect. Now, there's a point where you go, hold on, he's one thing, and us humans are lots of things. How come we can't just defeat him? Here's what I need to get across, right? So you know all of the surveillance we have in the world, currently cameras and stuff. So this movie takes place a little bit in the future, so imagine that, but on a larger scale. Technology is ACE's domain. So the first ever true artificial intelligent sentient life form comes with the artificial intelligence side of things, the digital side of things. So ACE will be in charge of all of the surveillance in the world. Now, how that's going to manifest is he can see every single camera at the same time in real time, because his processing power is very high. So every single camera that there is in the world will be seen by ACE at the same time. So in effect, he is everywhere. The way that manifests, because I know it's going to happen in real life at some point, is whenever you see a camera, even though it is watching and recording, it's a slightly different mentality, because it's like that camera is actively ACE watching. So if you do anything out of line, he will see it immediately, and he can do some sort of robot-y thing to counteract that. That's why the entire world is going to be at his mercy. Oh, what's going to happen next? Good to see you. Let's do some more BME stuff. BME, what's the best movie ever? Just swipe up if you want some context. One of the favorite things that I have in the movie that I'm making is Loyalty the dog, which is a robot dog, but I love animals, so he's going to be a cool character anyway. One of my favorite characters, speaking of characters, is Ghost, which is this badass spy type master of disguise girl. She's the coolest character in the thing, I reckon. And one of my favorite moments in the entire movie, let me set this up a bit. Okay, so when ACE, the first ever true artificial intelligence, first gets introduced, he's just a digital thing on the hero's computer. And then, when he next gets introduced, he gets a body by the partner, but he's sort of not quite as good as the SEAL Team 6 type people around him in the small team. But he starts getting better, starts learning, starts evolving, and then we get to a pretty pivotal point in the movie where the Warlord King is about to be assassinated by this team, good guys, from the American side, led by the American patriotic hero. ACE is on the team, and then we get to one of my favorite parts of the movie. That's where all of the teasing that these guys have been giving ACE, and all of this pressure and all of this bullying gets turned around when ACE finally evolves into the KBE, which is what I use for this scene because, you know, in I'm dressing it up. It's the Killbot extraordinaire. You know, in Kingsman when they have the church scene, or in Kingsman 2 when they have the American guy fighting all those people. There's going to be a similar scene to that where Ace snaps, but he kills basically everybody in a whole stadium. So that's going to be fun, right? So those are three of my favorite things. Good seeing you. Let's do some more BME talk, and while you go, BME, what's that? And I give you a time to swipe up and go to YouTube. It is late for this video, so I was thinking, gonna do it with a beer. Loyalty is what I call an H-1 artificial intelligence, and the H being human. So if you imagine humans on this level, then the other artificial intelligence levels, depending on how high they are, H is higher than humans, but loyalty is H-1, so just below. Thanks, beer. Look at that, helping already. Now, back in the university days, so this is before the movie actually starts, our hero was with his partner at the university. Those two made loyalty together. The partner was the one that made the body, the robot body of loyalty, and the hero is the one that made the artificial intelligence mind part of loyalty. Loyalty was loyal from the start up until the movie starts to our hero. Now, our hero has a habit of being a bit timid, let's say, and he shies away from confrontation. So loyalty has taken it upon himself to stand up for the hero when he thinks he's being wronged. The hero doesn't love this about loyalty at all. In college, that is actually what we think stopped the relationship in its tracks between the hero and the partner, because our hero and the partner were having a heated discussion, and loyalty bit the partner on the arm, and the partner still feels a bit of resentment to the day. This does actually come out in the movie, so it might be important in case you want to know. Loyalty is more than a robot to the hero. So we start out when the hero is creating Ace, the first ever true artificial intelligence. He has loyalty at his side. So a lot of the movie at the beginning is the hero and his dog, and loyalty does occasionally act up in ways where we have to kind of see our hero say, no, you can't do that. Things are slightly different while he's creating Ace, and he doesn't know what he's going to create yet, but let's not get into that stuff yet. I don't want to tell you that loyalty definitely dies, because there's a chance that it could come back, but yeah, loyalty dies. Spoiler alert. So just get yourself ready for that, because it's going to be traumatic. He does it in a very brave way to save the hero. He goes and fights against this big machine, which he loses against. So yeah, the hero gets away, but it's a bit of a sad moment. Oh, video 3! Hey, out of 5. That's pretty good. 2 more to go. See you tomorrow. Hopefully earlier and less of this. Let's do some more BME talk. And I'm not going to go, BME, what's that? Swipe up. Go have a gander at YouTube if you aren't up to date, because you're up to date. But you can have a gander at YouTube with my latest I Hate video, which is a series that I do on YouTube. You might enjoy it. Go have a look. I was thinking, for today, number 4 out of 5 in the BME series, let's do a run-through of what happens in the movie from start to finish, just so you actually have an idea of what's going on in this movie. Now, there's 2 ways that this could happen. Either I could do it here at my desk, all calm and collected, because I have my notes of the whole movie and how it goes, or I could do it here with 0 planning and no idea of whether it's going to come out good. I reckon let's do it here. When we start, Bad start. When the movie begins, our hero is with his dog Loyalty and he's creating Ace, which is the first ever true artificial intelligence, but he's just in the beginning stages. To get some concept and context of the movie, we see some other things going on. The planet is going to hell. Global warming is crazy. We've had some sort of a super hurricane and ice has just overwhelmed the eastern hemisphere and things are not going great for the humans. And the rich humans are actually planning on going to Mars in this big ship. And unfortunately, that big ship is going to get crashed because there's a solar flare that happens in the movie. And it wipes out all of the electricity. And one of these big ships is going to be taking off at that point, and the solar flare is going to hit it, and this big ship's going to crash. A lot of the important people in the world are going to die then. At that time, also, the Warlord King is going to send a nuclear missile to the White House. Now, declaring war on America because, leading up to this, there's been some conflict. The Warlord King has created a domed city somewhere in the Eastern Hemisphere. Remember the ones that are now completely iced over. This hemisphere that he creates himself, domed little hemisphere, is climate controlled. So he has created this utopia of sunshine and parties and fun that he has invited select people to, and also competitions that you can win. For instance, in the robot fighting league, all of those guys, the champions, they get invited. So it's sort of a prestigious area, but something nefarious is going on there. There is something called the Resistance, a group of people inside this domed hemisphere that this Warlord King has created. And they know that the fishy things that the Warlord King is getting up to hasn't been seen by the outside world. So they are the Resistance. Ghost and her partner in the Resistance is one of the main people that we focus on. Ghost is a little bit prickly, but she is this assassin type spy girl. She's amazing. You'll like her. The first thing she does is a bit unlikable though. She does possibly get somebody killed. He's a bad guy, but she does orchestrate it to happen because she has a larger plan, and she humiliates the king on live television. Now, the king's public persona is this cool, rich, he invites people to his dome, laid-back party kind of guy. But as we know, he sends a nuclear missile to America, so he does have this other side. The American people are protected by APH in this movie. So the American patriotic hero is the guy that leads the task force that Ace is going to be on, that eventually goes to assassinate the Warlord King. APH doesn't really know that this missile is coming towards him. So he's caught off guard when it flies through the window and is not active. So somebody has stopped it. What stopped it? Well, that's Ghost. Remember, she tried to get somebody killed and succeeded. This was the second in charge to the Warlord King's bad side. Ghost managed to get this so that she could infiltrate the organization as the Red Smile, which is a notorious, lots of stories about her kind of person. So when the Warlord King was like, oh yeah, we're getting the Red Smile on the team, get her on, she's known as a no-nonsense lady. Ghost has been in the team all the way up to when this nuclear missile is fired, and she's been trying to get information back to the American patriotic hero because she's funded by the CIA or something like that. The Resistance is, that is. So she has been trying to get information and trying to get them to stop this warlord that's going to be sending a missile to them, but unfortunately they don't see it coming. So she has to break character, stop it, so that it goes through the window and doesn't explode and kill anybody. But then the Warlord King goes, hey, you aren't who you say you are. She has to fight her way out. And that's where we leave Ghost for now.
APH on the American side is like, oh no, things aren't great. Somebody just sent a warlord missile to us, probably the warlord king, right? So we need to fight back. We need a task force. And because this is slightly in the future when robots are a thing, the Robot Fighting League is actually a big thing in this movie. The guy who makes the robots for the Robot Fighting League is then called in. He is the partner, our hero's partner from university that made loyalty together, as you may remember. The partner says, I can give you what you want, but we need to get the hero involved. So they get the hero involved. The hero is close to creating Ace, but he's sort of on the verge of whether or not it's a good idea or not, because he knows that Ace will be the most powerful thing there is. But he gets convinced or threatened from APH because his country needs him. So Ace gets given over to this government organization and this task force. Initially, when Ace gets his body for the first time, he's not as good as the specialist humans. Throughout the movie, as we're getting closer to the assassination of the Warlord King, Ace is evolving. Ace is getting better. But the humans are still persecuting him like humans do, teasing him, bullying him for being lesser than them and not a real intelligence, and oh, you're just a robot, not a real alive person. And eventually Ace snaps. And that's where we get the KBE, Killbot Extraordinaire. Basically kills everyone around. I think he's going to keep the APH as a symbol, take him back to the United States. At this point, the partner's like risen up and tried to kill our hero, succeeded in killing Loyalty, which sucks, but our hero's on the run. Ghost hitches a ride with Ace without Ace knowing, gets back to America, and there's a big showdown between the partner and Ace. Ace wins that pretty easily because he's in control of all the robots, and the partner was like, oh, look at all my robots. And Ace's like, yeah, those are my robots. And then we know that ends. The hero and Ghost get together and finally figure out how they can stop Ace. I'm not going to ruin that for you, but that's the gist of the plot. Ooh, aren't you glad we did it this way? I'm not sure yet, but you're glad, aren't you?
Okay, that's going very, very well. I just want to interrupt for a second to tell you that Day 5 didn't go quite as well as I would have hoped because I got an eye infection. And if I'm honest, it did drop my mood slightly. So having known that, let's get into it.
I guess my question would be, who even gets an eye infection while they're quarantining alone? I have no idea, but I managed somehow. So let's try and get through this before my eye swells shut. We've had a good idea of what BME is and how the movie's going to play out. Let's talk about some external factors. We heard why I call it the best movie ever is because once the robots eventually do take over in real life, this movie's going to serve as a blueprint of how we're going to save ourselves as humans. So, important stuff. That's why I call it the best movie ever. Who's going to be in it? Well, we know I want as the hero character Brad Pitt, so probably Brad Pitt. I assume the universe is just going to make that happen. Directing, I know Quentin Tarantino, isn't he famously, he had a number of movies, he's got one left or something, so maybe this could be it. Or Christopher Nolan, he's good, but then obviously he'd want Leo DiCaprio and all those guys in because he always puts them in. But we can find places for them. Those two, anyone famous, I guess. I don't know. Probably not me. I'm not a real director, so we'll probably need to outsource that bit. The main female characters, like Ghost, I have no idea. I don't keep up to date with who are female characters played by nowadays. So, the ScarJo of the time, whoever that is. So we got that. What else is there to tell you? Oh, when is it coming out? I originally thought 2029, so probably 2029. Am I getting a tattoo about it? Yes, of the peace sign, which is the I Choose Life, the name of the movie tagline. But because of COVID, I don't want to go out to any dodgy needle people, so I'm probably waiting on the tattoo. What else is there going on? I don't know. This is the worst possible ending to a pretty good series. But yesterday was 8 minutes long, so let's keep this short and sweet and sour sauce. See you again sometime, probably next week. That's just about gonna do it for us. Now, some people would say it's probably too early to put up your Christmas decorations when it's November the 16th. But I say if Corona is gonna take away our entire year, we can have a longer Christmas than normal. This is now an end screen. I'm gonna stand as still as I possibly can, not to interrupt you when you click one of the playlists up there or subscribe down here. Good to see you, and I look forward to seeing you again. That's why you're hitting subscribe, remember?